Welcome to the Charleston Chicks podcast, where life gets better, bolder, and a little bit bonkers. We're three fierce, fabulous, and 50-something women who've been there, done that, and got the battle scars and laugh lines to prove it. Think of us as your go-to girlfriends, dishing out real talk on friendship, love, career, and connection. Because let's be honest, life after 45 is where the magic really happens. From navigating reinvention to new careers, dating, marriage, and surviving hot flashes with style, we're here to laugh, share, and dive deep into all the messy, magical moments of midlife. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into the conversations you actually want to have. Because at this stage, we're not holding back, and neither should you. Welcome to the Charleston Chicks. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest transformations we've all experienced, the confidence shift. Somewhere after 45, confidence stops being about how we look or what we've achieved and starts being about who we've become. Today, we're talking about how women in midlife can redefine confidence by embracing their lived experience, facing fears, and taking action even when it feels uncomfortable. Each of us has reinvented ourselves after 45. Today, we're going to start with Jen, who is going to share her story.
Confidence after 45. Okay, so the fact that I can share this today means that I've really grown in ways that I'm very proud of. And at 48 is when COVID hit, and I realized that, oh my gosh, we're going to be in for quite a while, not expected. So I decided to follow through on yet another life dream that I held inside for a long time, and that was to become a life coach. And I had great training, learned, loved it, but then came the time to put myself out there. And since we were home, everything had to be online. And having a career in PR, I knew all about promotion and messaging, but what I didn't know was how the world shifted from 2010 to 2020, when I was not doing PR or online. I was busy raising my family. And so when I went to market myself as a coach, I was so behind. I felt the world had passed me by. People were talking about posts and stories and Canva and all these things that are second nature to me today, but were things that I had no idea what they were talking about. And I felt very old at 48. I felt, who am I to do this? I felt really embarrassed, like, oh my God, I had a major career in PR. I also had an incredible piano teaching business with a waiting list of over 50 students. I run a household, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm all these things, but I really felt like a dinosaur in my own body, and I was projecting how I thought the world would look at me, and I realized it wasn't that I was afraid to be seen, it was that I was afraid to be seen starting small.
That makes sense. Interesting.
Right? It was, I was really a beginner with this online thing. And I wasn't used to being a beginner. Again, by 48, almost 50, even in your 50s, you've had enough incredible life experience, career experience, any experience. You've lived a good amount of time, thank God. And you're not used to being a beginner. And here it is, I had to be a beginner again. And I, was like hitting myself over the head with like a frying pan, so to speak. I was like, come on, you should know better. You should know better. How do you not know this? And how did I fix that? I just didn't give up. And you'll hear that a lot from the gurus and from people who come to the other side and have overcome their fears and the obstacles, is you just don't give up. And there's many different ways to not give up, one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And for me, I just immersed myself in more learning and then action. It's not enough to learn, which I love doing, but you also have to implement. And And now over the hump, over 50, I'm even more comfortable to share about my age. And I feel younger today than I did at 48. And that's because I'm in the game. And you just have to get in the game.
Well, you're not just in the game. Yeah. You kind of are the game.
You're the best. You're the best. How about you guys? Tell us about your confidence shift after 45.
Gosh, the last 10 years of my life have been like a lifetime, to be honest. I have gone through 2 major career shifts in the last 10 years. One was obviously both after 45. One was moving across country. I moved from my career. I'm working HR, but I had been in staffing, and I wanted to make a shift into like a full HR professional role. And so I moved across country. I decided to make a move from being centered around staffing and recruiting to be comprehensively HR. I got my certification in that field and moved across the country. And at the same time, my marriage also started to not be in a good place at the same time. So I'm 3 things going on at the same time. And I spent 10 months looking for a job. Just very humbling. Yeah. Very humbling when you're over 45 and in a new place. And I landed at a company through serendipity. It's putting myself out there and talking, letting people know, trying to network, and just trying to truly believe in this shift I was trying to make. And I've shared with you guys a story. I had an interview with a well-known company and for a recruiting job, which is really not what I wanted. But at 10 months, I'm starting to doubt my vision for myself and where I wanted to take my career. And I had an interview, and I went on this interview for a recruiting job, like a corporate recruiter type of role. And one of the perks of the job was you got a company car. My car was really old at the time. I was like, gosh, that would be great. And then I was like, it's probably not a good idea to take a job because it offers you a company car. Like, that's the main pull is the company car. It's probably not really aligned with purpose and fulfillment. But I really had to say, you know what? I really don't want this job. They frankly never offered me the job. But soon thereafter, I actually ran into, it was my real estate agent at the time who introduced me to the person who actually ended up hiring me. And it was a company, I shout out to Quicksilver Scientific because they're amazing for a lot of reasons. But I was hired there. They were small, they were growing, and they hired me to come in and do their HR. And that was really a life changer for me in a lot of ways. And but I had a lot of gut check moments in 10 months of what am I doing? I'm actually trying to ask someone to give me an opportunity that I've actually never done before. And
so what were the limiting beliefs or the thoughts that were going through your head at the time? If you could just sort of bullet point those in 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So one was definitely, I've never done, the job I wanted to do, I'd actually never done before, but I knew I could do it. So the limiting belief I had to overcome was, I've never done it before, so how do I know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so how do I know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. What's the next one?
That's the main one,
okay.
To be honest. That's the main one. It was, do I really know this? Do I know what I'm talking about? Am I really capable of this?
Well, of course you're capable.
Well, I had moments where, 10 months and I didn't know a soul in the business community. And so it was also, how do I convince people that I can do this? And honestly, that's the limiting belief was that main one, that I had to constantly come back to myself on. And we've talked before about feeling in your body, what something feels like. And I knew what I thought about what I wanted to do, what that felt like to me, and I could not let it go. I was like, that is what I know I need to be doing. And I just kept taking it every day and trying to meet people. And it's interesting, it's funny, ironic that the person who actually ended up introducing me to who eventually hired me was one of the first people I ever met 10 months previously in Colorado. It was my real estate agent. So, it's like the first person ended up being the person, but it was a huge opportunity for me. And I think I was maybe 47 at the time.
And look at you now.
Well, that opportunity gave me paved the way for the opportunity, the next shift I made, which was to open my own consultancy. I could not do what I do today without having had the experience I had there.
So a great point is to remember that your experience is your expertise. Yes. That was something that I really learned, and what you're sharing as well. Your experience is your expertise, and so often we tell ourselves all these negative things to keep us down. And what I did is telling myself, I'm too old and all these things, and I was projecting what I thought other people were going to say about me. But nobody had ever said any of these things. It was just me telling myself these things, which kept me playing small. It kept me hidden. It kept me protected. It also kept me not growing. It kept me from putting myself out there and taking a chance and doing what I love doing, which is what I'm doing today. And I was this is really important, I was prejudging myself based on what I thought other people were going to think and say about me. And at the end of the day, it is just so not fair to us. And all those thoughts that I had, now maybe they think that in private, and okay, well, so it goes. But it doesn't matter. I'm so grateful and happy for doing what I'm doing, and have amazing clients, and they're doing incredible work, and they're getting visible and growing. And that's what it's about. It's as long as we're growing, that I think that's what keeps us alive, as long as there's growth and forward movement. Yes. And realizing that we're not behind, we're evolving, and that our experience is our expertise.
I agree with that.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. So
tell us a little more.
Okay.
Yes.
So my story's a little bit different. I grew up in real estate. My mom became a realtor when I was 13. And because of that, I was never going into real estate, ever. I hated what she did. It was always stressful. Half the time she couldn't pay the bills. I had to take care of my brothers. I had to take care of the house. I remember at 13 feeling like I had so much responsibility and couldn't just be a kid and have fun. And I hated what she did, but I loved houses. I always had the biggest Zillow saved list of houses you could ever imagine. I helped all of my friends find their houses, decorate their houses, but I was never going to be a realtor. So at some point in my late teens, probably 18, 19, I took the real estate test because my mom wanted me to work with her. I so badly did not want this for myself. So I purposely failed the test. And I thought, I don't have to do this. So off I go in my life, my marriage, all my things, having 4 kids, having a couple of different careers. I used to own a tattoo studio, but I don't have any tattoos. I did social media for
people in the entertainment industry and did some different things that was really fun for a while until it wasn't fun. And at the same time, I kept helping people find their houses. So these realtors were making money off of what I was doing, but I loved it and had so much fun. So a couple of years ago, I decided this is stupid. I love real estate. I was doing marketing for a real estate company while at the same time helping them find clients' homes. And I took the test and became a realtor in South Carolina. So when I did this, though, I was told by multiple people, you're never going to be able to break into the market. There are so many people that do this. You're never going to be successful. I didn't listen to them. You can't, that's the thing, you can't listen to what other people say. You have to go with your gut. You have to go with your heart. Within the first 3 months, I had $12 million under contract. And currently, I am in the top 1% of realtors for sellers and top 3% for realtors and buyers in South Carolina. So, I'm sorry, in Charleston, not in South Carolina. Probably South Carolina. I don't know. All I know is if I had listened to what people said, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be in a career I love. I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. And I wouldn't be enjoying my life the way I am. There are people who didn't want me to be successful. There are people who didn't like how much I would work, because starting a new business, you work a lot. And being an entrepreneur and a woman, especially, you have to work twice as hard to get everything done. But I love what I do. And it's really given me a beautiful life because I listened to what I wanted and listened to my heart and didn't listen to the naysayers. So you'll have people who come up against you. Don't listen. Don't listen. And surround yourself with people who are growing, people who are ambitious, people who are your biggest cheerleaders and only want good things for you. The people who fill you with the negativity, just get rid of them or push them off to the side because they're not helping you. They're hindering you. I've got two of the biggest cheerleaders right next to me, and I'm so grateful and lucky. I love what I do. And this is the first time in my life I can honestly say I love what I do. I love my career and I love my life because I was intentional about what I was choosing to do and not listening to other people. And I did this in my 50s. So if I can do it, a single mom with 4 kids, anybody can do it. Any of you can do it and love your life as much as I do.
So interesting. When you're younger, some people know what they want to do when they grow up. Some people don't. I think most people don't. Yeah. And you just fall into something and you don't know how the pieces of the puzzle are going to all come together. True. And you just keep going and you keep going. And I can imagine what we'll talk about in our 60s, 70s, 80s, please God, 90s and beyond. But certainly it's, I think, exciting. I think there's something very, very magical about being in your 50s that I didn't feel in any other decade so far.
Not, did I.
And there's a clarity, such a clarity and a confidence that's a different kind of confidence. And you start to see all these pieces of the puzzle. You've lived enough that you have the experience and proof of concept, and you've been like, okay, I've seen this before. I've seen the patterns,
yes,
right? And you start to know what you like and what you don't like and how people work and how everything operates, that you can take these steps and choose very confidently for your next step. It's funny, though, I heard a quote about entrepreneurship. We're the only ones who will trade working 40 hours a week for somebody else so that we could work 80 hours a week for ourselves, right?
And it's so true.
It's fun.
It's so true. But we're doing it for ourselves, for our children, and we're creating a legacy. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
I mean, I absolutely never wanted to, I never thought about owning my own business and being an entrepreneur ever in my life, which is funny because a lot of people in my family are entrepreneurs and have businesses or side businesses. Or my mother owned her own business growing up, which was kind of unusual back then. At the time, I didn't realize it was unusual. I look back now. And my grandmother owned her own business.
That's awesome.
Which is highly unusual. But that was kind of the norm. But I never aspired to that. But I think coming into my 50s, my level of experience, like you talk about, Jen, gave me a confidence. And also, I think working on trusting my intuition, working on being aligned with the things that are important to me, and stepping into that really more fully also played a role in that. You know what I really, really value in life right now is freedom. Mm-hmm. And freedom might be working 80 hours for myself.
Right, because it's for you.
Because it's for me.
Yeah. Whenever you want. Like it could be 12 till 6 a.m. Not me, but it could, or it could, some people, if you're a morning person, 5 a.m. It depends. You can choose. Not me.
No,
not me
you.
either.
Not me.
I keep trying. I keep trying.
No.
I
There
know.
is nothing good about being up at 5 a.m. Not a thing.
My mom would get up at 3 a.m. and would do her work and is just the most incredible woman and just somebody I aspire to be like. And I don't know how she got up at 3 a.m. I cannot.
Absolutely.
Even like 7:30, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, I don't like 7:30 either.
I think we're all night owls, or at least
Very
not
much.
early morning people here, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's rough news in the morning.
Yeah. We are very much night owls.
Yes.
I mean, we're
Very.
sending Instagram posts back and forth at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I send them to you too, but I don't get the same responses at 2 a.m.
No, except if I'm, oh.
But I do think that it is an amazing time of life. And, I think back to you were saying how you felt now versus younger. I have way more energy. I have more creative potential, all the things that I ever did in my 30s.
So what do you attribute that to?
I think, well, like a lot of folks our age in my 30s, I was raising kids, and I was married, and I was carrying a lot of load in that relationship and working full time and doing all the things. And so I think it's very typical. I don't think you get through life without being very tired as a parent of young children. I don't think that's possible.
Or adult children.
I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom and that you are tired raising children. It's a lot. And so I think that's a big part of it. But I think that I was not really fully ever thinking about what I really wanted. My needs personally were always second or third in line. And I wasn't really even in tune with what I really needed in my relationship, in my life. And I think that that's very common. And coming out of my marriage and coming into my new career, it has been incredible. Like the last 10 years of my life, I have been like a whole lifetime, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And I'm really super grateful, but I don't think that it's like I'm special. Like I think that it's available to all of us as we move, and make choices for ourselves and become more aligned with who we are.
Yeah, and I think there are different phases and different times of life where certain things, like if one chooses to have children and you're raising the children, like you said, you're on 24/7 with infants and toddlers. It's very different. I love what I learned. It's that when the kids are young, they need you physically. When they get older, they need you more emotionally.
That's
and
so true.
Yeah,
Very true.
and it's a different kind of sort of parenting. But I think that it's just also the stage of life. Like you go through the stages, and then depending if you're in your 50s and if your kids happen to be older and maybe out of the house, then you can start to, as you are, Melanie and Lisa, start to look at your life and ask yourself, the most important question you could ask yourself is, what do I want? That's what you really need to ask. What do I want? And get very clear on what you want and start to take the steps, whatever they are, to build your life around what it is you do want. And that's a beautiful thing. I think that comes when you perhaps are through maybe the child rearing age, and you come back to yourself. I'll tell you what I found really interesting is we come back to ourselves in our 50s, and it's like, whoa, you have to get to know yourself a bit. It's like the last time I had this time to myself, maybe I was in my 20s or 30s. And I think have you experienced that?
Oh my
like
gosh. Getting
to know yourself again?
Yes.
It sounds like a little weird, but I've talked to myself about this a lot.
Yes.
I don't think it sounds weird. I think it's normal. And we're also getting to know ourselves at a different stage of life. Right. Mm-hmm. There's something so freeing in your 50s, kind of that just not caring what other people think anymore and doing things for yourself. I think it's the greatest time of life, personally.
So if we could think about our key message for our audience today, I'll say your experience is your expertise. Lean into it, own it, and that is your most valuable marketing asset, something that you want to share with other people.
Surround yourself with ambitious, positive people who are growing and who are your biggest cheerleaders. Close out the negativity, don't pay attention, and surround yourself with the people who want to see you grow and help you grow.
I think for me, because I think it's with a career pivots, it's taking risk can bring you closer to authenticity.
Yes.
And I know the risks that I took, because those risks, they felt really risky because I was choosing myself in a way I never had before. And it brought me so much closer to my authentic self. And that's, I think, a huge reason why these last 5 to 10 years have been transformative for me. And I think that is possible for everyone.
I love it.
Confidence after 45 isn't about proving yourself. It's about finally believing in the woman you've always been. Thanks for listening to the Charleston Chicks. We'll see you next week.